Jerry, here we are, C&E Library here in Taipei. Incredible space. Cafe, working space, co-working space for students. I mean, this has been packed all day.
It has been. We're at the end of our last leg here in Asia. We have one more wrap-up leg to do in Seattle, which we leave tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn. First and foremost, I can't say enough about Pillow and Tea. They have a unique product line for people like me who are investors and entrepreneurs, and for young entrepreneurs, where I'm looking for people who know how to use money wisely. Workspaces globally, they are the experts at finding the niche workspaces, like here I'm just going to call it library for short, because that's what it reminds me. There's a top floor there which has got books from all over, engineering books, architectural books, and also just lifestyle books. There are books that are written in Chinese, obviously. There are books that are written in all languages. This is down from the large university here in Taiwan. We were earlier in the university that's in the Zhongshan district that you're building a relationship with, or just commenced that process. I can't say enough about the hard work that you and your fellow incubators have done. As you know, there was a gathering of the lawyers, the global lawyers in Pune, India, and we all remarked on just the very strategic use of cash and investors that are invested in companies. Like to see that from their companies that are in the incubator. Do they have financial literacy? Are they open to the lessons that we're teaching them? Are they capable of not having a big cash burn? So we like to go to big chain hotels. Instead, we're in a boutique law firm, a boutique hotel, which is like a fraction of the cost. And luxury. I'm in a luxurious suite.
I'm glad you brought up the whole, save your investors money thing, because when it comes to whether it's the travel logistics with Pillow and Tea, but also the whole theme of the Thinkland demo of the past few weeks has been global strategic partners. And the nice thing about strategic partners is that it actually saves your team and the investor money, because instead of having to build out your team internally, you strategically partner yourself with someone that already has either the resources or the network or the team, and you guys get to partner together. And it's a cost-saving measure, but also it's a growth measure. And I think the last few weeks has been great evidence to that. And as we continue, especially at Thinkland, to gain new partnerships and gain new relationships, that is the pathway to success, but also the efficient and cost-efficient way to success.
That's a great point, and this is why I really like what you're doing over with the university, at least commencing a relationship with the university here in Taipei. It's just a 12-hour differential. You get 12-hour head start when you have people working on your projects. Digital design is going to be very, very important. Digital engineering going to be very, very important. Who's going to own this? Who's going to own these this AI? And I see this all the time. I see companies who are coming in and saying, "Hey, look, we don't want to be beholden to these new AI features. Can we get more control over it? Can you guys go out and design it? Can you go out?" And I said, "Yeah, I think we're at the cutting edge of this."
Yeah, we've been talking about this all day today, because with this potential new partnership with incredible universities here in Taipei and the design students, because we think Thinkland was founded with a vision of within design, design first, and there's so much value there when we talk about developing products, specifically digital products, to go to market. A lot of these engineers and a lot of the people startups we partner with, they don't have that expertise in design. So what we do is we help them create an experience, a user experience, and a digital presence that is going to connect people to that brand, to that service, to that product that a lot of the engineers don't have the vision for. And I think when we talk about developing these digital products and services, that is the value, is how can we bring incredible engineers and tech with incredible design and the design students at TTU and these universities here in Taipei, are really, I have so much faith in this potential partnership, because that's where great growth and great solutions for the world are going to happen when you combine those two things of great technology and capability with great design, so it's easy and intuitive for people to use, the everyday person. So excited about this new development, and again, global partnership with organizations here in Taipei to connect us with all these other partnerships that we're developing across the globe.
Really one of the things I like, because you guys were really enthusiastic about coming here to Taipei. You just saw two young students just walked by here. This is a Friday night, late on Friday night,
Yeah,
and there are still students that are working down below. We're just about 3 floors to
we
this,
love to see it. We love to see it.
the dedication. Now you add that to a client that we have that would be based in New York City. So you got your guys working up in Boston Tech, and then when your day is over, then you have this potential here. And we know that works because that's how we work with legal process outsourcing in Pune, India.
Right.
And your editing, you opened up in the GCC and a global capability center. You helped design the recruitment, the curriculum, and you actually taught the editing department that's being built out there, which is now ready for expansion. That's on there. So these are this is a very important point. If you can use the international dateline to your favor in a cost-effective manner by arbitraging the currencies, then you're ahead of the game.
Yeah, the international dateline is a huge, huge value for developers in the United States, and the key really, it's there, but the key is finding that trusted partner, whether it's here in Taipei with incredible, new design students and talent here, but also we've seen the evidence of this, like you just said, with the GCC in Pune, and the digital team we've been able to develop there. So it's a proven thing. Once you find that trusted partner, and which is the whole thing with Think Demo, is connecting these startups with the right global partners. Sky's the limit when it comes to developing your digital products in your startup. So yeah, I can't speak more. And like you said, my friend, we've been here all day and everyone's head down grinding out on a Friday night, and it's just really, really cool to see, not just talent wise and the incredible access to these students here in this incredible city, but it's the hard work and the grind. And when we talk about this in the startup culture, that's everything.
Mac, we'll be back in the United States tomorrow, and I'm on with my office every day, and what everybody's talking about is they're concerned about the economy, the layoffs, the tariffs, what have you. Your experience with layoffs and how a young person who's had it, they're all. I guess when you hear these stories from the United States, it brings back some pretty bad memories where you go to school, you go into debt. Now it looks like the government plans to take student debt out of the Department of Education and put it into this to the Small Business Association. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but at the end of the day, all this uncertainty. Then you have the Gen Zs who come up and seeing what your generation went through, and they say, "Why should we go to these universities and rack up a whole lot of debt? Maybe we can get certifications. Maybe
Right.
we can defer it by going to community colleges and learning some of the things. And then what are we going to do? We're going to learn code. Is AI going to take it out? There needs to be, in times of turbulence, some sort of sense of diversification.
Yes.
So you can diversify what your streams of income are. And one of the things that we point out, and we had a great conversation about this, is the need to modulate, the development with the need to have sales, because there has to be a path to profit that's out there. And one of the things that we talked about was strategically aligning some of the companies, because you guys collaborate so well in Incubator, with affiliate-based marketing programs in order to start that stream of income. These are all wonderful opportunities that you have, but can you sort of just go back to your path? Because right out there, this particular podcast, this is really geared towards our entrepreneurs, young or old, who are out in the MGSN network, because the vast majority of the followers over in MGSN are entrepreneurs. Can you tell us how you came to this path? Because I think in this turbulent time,
Yeah.
this might be something that people want to hear.
Yeah, and just a shout out to some of the demos that we did, this past week. I actually go further into my story here, but I think it's important to note because out of college, the millennial generation, those millennials, we got hit with a lot of adversity, and you're starting to see that. You're starting to see that not only in the United States, but here in Taipei and all across the globe, where you're starting to see people move less away from, more away from that traditional pathway to success, which is, go your 9 to 5 and, head down and, work for the man. But you're starting to see more of this entrepreneurial spirit. So as much as there's adversity out there, the nice thing I want to, tell our followers is that, you know, lean into this entrepreneurial route. And it's exciting to see, you're starting to see this culturally, in the United States or whether, all over the globe where people are starting to be like, hey, I can be my own brand. I can be my own influencer. I can, develop myself and learn myself because we've seen people from my generation, myself included, went to school, gotten hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. And you're looking back and you're thinking, why didn't I invest that $100,000 in myself instead right out of high school? Why did I give it to someone else? And then once I graduated, there wasn't even a marketplace for me for those skills. So you're seeing a lot more specific, niche industry where you can go, do that 3-4 week course to get your certification, or again, go start your startup. And I think that's extremely important and attractive right now in this economy where, it's that day where you graduate college and you stay in the company for the rest of your life, that's gone. That's out the window. That hasn't been there. And the reality is it hasn't been there for a long time. So, when we're talking about global opportunities here, we're looking at, wow, like the opportunity in Pune to, with our connections, to start your own development in the GCC, in the Global Capability Center, or to come to Taipei and work with, the incredible talented students, or to, start a content team in Africa. Connecting all these different things is very possible. You just got to think a little bit outside the box. And honestly, it's a pathway to success that's more feasible now than trying to do that traditional route. The traditional route does not exist anymore. So we really are telling students, or especially people right out of high school even, really rethink about what you want to do, as far as growing, not just personally, but professionally, and how you're going to get there.
Well, we'll be closing out a podcast when we're in Seattle, and we get right back to work with you guys because we're looking to do a demo in Silicon Valley in the fall, and the reason for that is with a lot of startups, I like them to do bootstrapping like you guys have done, and we've held boot camps in Canada to show how to do that, and now we're gonna we're gonna start building out these affiliate marketings, in particular in the companies that are in the three big niches. Even though Pillow and Tea is it's really just in the starter phase. They have two big, gigantic demos under their belt, which covered multiple cities in Europe and now multiple cities here in Asia. What we're also looking for in the wellness sector. We have a very established wellness company that's in the incubator, and we really feel that that's also a niche that people are really looking to gain control over, especially now when insurance companies are hijacking medicine and medicine is hijacking insurance companies. And people are saying, I really don't want pharmaceutical missionaries to be, I want to have an alternative. And wellness offers that. And that's on it. And of course, Mac, your own company, digital developers, people want, media is changing, platforms are changing, the way people communicate are changing. And this is sort of a key to that. So we're going to be then saying to companies that are looking and say, look, we appreciate the bootstrap thing, but we also have some pretty hot technologies in India or here in Asia, and we'd like to get to Silicon Valley right
The
away.
boot camps and the workshops are super important. I mean, like that's one of some of my favorite things when it comes to Thinkland demos because we get to present, our demos, but then we get to collaborate, critique each other. A lot of things come out of these sessions. And the really exciting thing when we talk about like whether it's affiliate marketing or other global opportunities out there is that when we go to Silicon Valley, we really are going to dive into this whole disruption in media. And the nice thing that if you've been following along, this podcast has been this whole development within sports media, and also just like the development with BCFF that Thinkland's been able to do. And I think that really is the best lens into how much digital media has changed, where it's completely direct to the consumer. It's about the influencer, it's about the fan experience, it's about all these different things. So super excited to go into that workshop in Silicon Valley because as much as that might seem like, oh yes, this is how much social media and how much media has changed to the personal level, it affects everything, even to the enterprise level. It affects a digital developer and getting that, again, product to the market and transitioning that into sales. Because at the end of the day, when you're building these brands and communities, it's for the ability to monetize, the ability to sell your product and make money. And when all these things connect, and when you're building that community, you're developing that digital media presence, you have to think, all the way down to the consumer and the user. And you really got to think about them first when you're developing your digital products.
One thing I have great admiration for our companies in incubator is when you're on the road, you obviously that's your I mean, my gosh, we put months and months of preparation
So much prep.
in that, and we're gonna like, okay, maybe we'll take the weekend off next weekend, but we'll have to start right off the bat in developing out Silicon Valley 2025. The first demo that we're doing in the United States, that's on there. But I know, as you know, that I have a law practice in New York City, and when these guys are calling, it's Friday night for our young friends who we had another student walk by, and there's a couple more that probably will walk by. They're ready now to go out and enjoy this magnificent city, and we'll get a nice dinner. We have great reservations at Pillow and Tea set up for us for a high-end Italian restaurant right here in the city. But the minute I put my fork down, it's Friday morning in New York, and I've been working all week on briefs and that have to be presented in court and DDIs for transactions that are for mergers and acquisitions. But I had a guy who was working late last night, and you took a sales call that you worked hard on getting and made a pitch, and it looks like you might have even potentially closed a new client.
It's funny how that works because we're in love with this 12-hour difference here in Taipei to our East Coast clients, and the funny thing is, in Boston, we're sometimes selling remotely to companies and startups in Asia, right? Well, it's a funny thing. We're in Taipei last night, taking a sales call, trying to close on a client in Boston, which is where of course, our campus is. So we actually ended up making good leeway into that insight, and we're happy to bring that new client into the Thinkland family here. So just a fun time. It just shows you how important it is to think global, and to not get that get yourself too much in a box when it comes to starting your own startup. And it doesn't matter, again, if you're a small firm or an individual or solopreneur, it's super important. And don't ever close yourself off. I mean, and like last night, shows you, I think sleep's overrated. Close that client, make sure you're doing everything to get the best return for your investor. And also, when it comes to global capability, it always comes back to the strategic partners. And I think this demo, more than any of the demos, Thinkland demo here in Asia, has shown that, man, it's like the amount of value you get, especially for a small firm or small company or a startup, to strategically partner yourself, it opens all the doors when it comes to sales, when it comes to developing, and when it comes to growth, and not just growth, but sustainable long-term impact growth.
Mac, I had the honor of sitting in on a product development meeting that was held in Pune with Asian entrepreneurs and U.S. entrepreneurs, including yourself. And I really enjoyed speaking with you today on the product developments, because you're a very innovative guy in the digital development space. What we're looking to do is we have our law firm obviously has some legacy material that we like to write, and your publishing house should be coming online between now and Demo Silicon Valley 2025. So we're really looking forward to that new product that you're developing there.
Yeah, it's exciting times for publishing. I mean, it's really ultimately a very innovative digital publishing house that Thinkland is developing right now. And it's important to note because publishing is everything when it comes to marketing and creating your community and growing your community. And for it doesn't matter what industry, like you're saying, for lawyers in New York that have a legacy, it's about finding ways to format their value and bring it to the marketplace so it can be consumed and consumed in a beautifully way. And again, it goes back to that driver with Thinkland, which is design. And you can have, whether it's a digital product, you can even a physical product, but also when it's an encompass, amount of work, Thinkland sees the value, right? And the value of someone that has 40 years of law experience. How can we then package that and publish that? Because there's clearly so much value there, but how do you can't just like make an entire 200,000 page book and put it out there and hope people read it. No, there's other forms, like whether it's podcasting, whether it's videos, whether it's ebooks, whether it's blog posts, whether it's newsletters. There's so many other forms of content out there that are more consumable and better designed, that are better for this marketplace right now in this digital world. And that's the exciting thing that we have with the Single Publishing House, is really rebranding and redesigning the value that the world's not seeing so the world can see it.
Fantastic. Well, it's been, I'm going to miss Taipei. We saw last night here. We're going to go out and enjoy a nice meal with everybody in the incubator. They all did such a fantastic job. We started in Dubai, Bangkok, Pune, and now we wrapped up Taipei. And we have a closing session in Seattle tomorrow, plus a couple of some business development opportunities. I guess the only thing left to say is,
go start your startup.